What's going on, guys? SdotBell MMA here, and I wanted to show you guys my first fight, but with a little bit more commentary from me. This took place in 2017, so here we go. I know some of you have seen my YouTube, have watched this fight, and maybe you've seen it, but I wanted to give a little context and a little story about how I ended up with this fight. So this fight I actually took on 5 hours notice. At this point, I was not an MMA fighter. I was a newly minted blue belt. I had just got my blue belt in September. This fight was in January. I had no inkling before that I was ever going to fight MMA. Actually, if you hear the audio of the fight, in the background, you hear 2 guys, my boy Maga and my boy Evie, talking and giving me advice. Evie was actually going to take this fight, but he had got some misinformation about the type of fighter the guy was. So we thought he was a jiu-jitsu fighter as well. Turned out he was a kickboxer. And you'll see in the fight, I'm very much an amateur, super green. As I go shoot for the takedown, it looks really, really bad. But again, I didn't really know how to fit it all together when it pertained to my jiu-jitsu with my blue belt, and then also doing striking, because you can see my punches are terrible. I don't really have any kicks, and the one kick I do know how to throw in this instance was when was from capoeira, and I lost my footing here. You see me do the kick and I fall down, and Evie screams for me not to do that, and I kind of acknowledge him here, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do or how I'm going to get this guy to the ground. So I remember the whole lead up to this fight. Actually, they had offered me the fight a week in advance, but they spent each day offering and then telling me I wasn't going to fight until the day right before they told me I wasn't going to fight. I had gone out that night, got some drinks, was partying with my boys, and then I came the next day and they still offered me the fight. So at this point, I was a little bit hungover, not making any excuses. I took the fight anyway. So I'm here. You see, I finally get the guy down on the ground, and I'm kind of using my forearm and I'm landing punches. And I actually found out after the fact that here, as I'm landing some of the ground and pound in this first round, actually broke this guy's nose. So you can see he's doing everything in his power to hold me down. And at this time, I didn't know it. Obviously, I know it now that I've had a lot more experience and a lot more training, and only a couple more fights, but I've gotten a little bit more accustomed to dealing with this stuff. But like holding your body in this position and being so tight like that, it wears you out, and you have to learn how to preserve your energy. You have to learn how to breathe in these instances. And for me, this time I understood breathing from jiu-jitsu, but I didn't know how much the striking and other aspects were going to play a big role in this. It was going to totally wear me out, because this wore me out to no end. It was so crazy. But in the first round, I wasn't doing so bad. But all the tension and all the flexing that I was doing in the fight was going to end up kicking me in the butt towards the end of the fight, which you guys will see if you've seen it already, or if this is your first time watching, you'll end up seeing. So I'm not doing too bad of a job here. I kept the guy on the ground. He's trying to get out. He's trying to sweep me. He doesn't really know what he's doing, doesn't know it that well. But again, I was kind of rushing too. Here, you see he kicked me in the face. It wasn't that bad. It didn't hurt. But obviously, it's a wake-up call. Here, I'm able to control his feet and get him back down to the ground. And I was just kind of rushing. Again, I wasn't at this point in time anything that special in jiu-jitsu. Fresh blue belt. My skills were starting to develop, were starting to get a lot better, but I was still, very early in my jiu-jitsu journey at this point. So here, I'm down. I've got him held down again after almost letting him up. And every chance I get, I would start punching in the face, and then holding him, because I didn't want to get up and I didn't know what else to do. Obviously now that I've got more experience or in a fight, more recently, I would have so many other options in terms of the things that I could do in terms of passing his guard, things like that. Here, you see I land some heavy face punches, and you see him kind of lift his arm. I think that this is the point where his nose actually breaks, because those hammer fists that I was landing were pretty heavy. And I do have to, as a sidebar, say shout out to Evie and Maga for being in my corner, because again, Evie helped me warm up right before this fight, showed me a couple things in terms of the jab and what kicks I should throw. And that was about as much training in terms of striking that I had gotten. And so it helped a lot. And I think, I did pretty well in that first round. If I had been able to pass and maybe do a little bit more damage, I felt like I could have probably won the fight and finish. But again, you don't know what you don't know when it's your very first fight, and the only thing you know about MMA is what you watch and what you know in jiu-jitsu. So this was definitely an amazing learning experience. I know you guys saw in the beginning of the fight, they had a record for me. That record was fake. It says I was 6-2. I had never fought MMA before. But you saw the guy was 6'2". It was supposed to be a 90 kg or 205 fight. But actually, this guy was somewhere closer to 220 or 230. And he was a big guy. But you see, I think I was stronger than he was, so I was able to kind of control him in that instance and deal with his size. So here is where I really hit that damn wall, man. I was so freaking tired. I was exhausted because of how long I was holding him down in that first round, and I had used up most of my energy. And again, this bites me in the ass in this round. So here, he knows he's losing the fight, so he's trying to knock me out. And you see it in everything he does. Here, I'm still trying to, throw some feints and keep the distance. So I did have a little something, but you see my kicks look horrible. Here, I'm just blocking. I'm doing the worst type of blocking you could ever do. And it's usually what beginners do in this instance. And I'm just trying to move around. My movement's terrible. My punches look horrible. He's trying to kick me in the face. Everything you can do. Here, I was so exhausted. When I tried to take him down, I felt like I was hitting a wall, and you see me kind of slide to the ground. But I knew I couldn't let him get this really good position on me, so I'm trying to fight out of it. But it was really the beginning of the end here. I'm exhausted. I'm breathing. And I remember this bit of advice that I got from my boy Mikael. He's like, yo, this is your first time fighting. You don't really have the experience. Don't feel bad tapping out. So I'm here thinking, and I'm just so exhausted. I'm holding his arm. And what happens is, as he gets his arm out, what he starts to do is he starts hammer fisting me and getting punches to the back and the top of my head. So here he's elbowing me, which is legal, right, if it's to the face. But here you see it's right at the top of the head. And the ref doesn't say anything, and those shots are going to the back of the head. The ref's not saying anything. So I'm like, yo, if he keeps doing this, he's going to knock me out. And at this point, I'm exhausted. I'm like, yo, this is a perfect time to end this fight. He wasn't even under the chin. You can see his arm is not in the right position. He's trying to hit me again and more in the back of the head. And he doesn't have the choke in. It's on the chin. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. And I tap. So that was my first fight. Definitely a learning experience. I can't wait till I'm back in and I'm fighting again. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching my very first fight with my commentary. Hope you like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.